All right, let's get right into it. If you've been trying to figure out how to get help buying a car in Michigan, you have probably waded through a ton of confusing and frankly wrong information online. So, in this explainer, we're going to cut right through all that noise, separate the myths from the reality, and show you exactly how the real program actually works. Yeah, I'm willing to bet your search started with something like Michigan Car Voucher. It's a term that's absolutely everywhere. And it sounds so simple, right? A straightforward way to get a vehicle. But is it even real?
Well, here's the honest truth. That voucher program you've been reading about, it's not really a voucher program at all. So we're going to get straight to the facts, show you the correct information so you know exactly what to do and just as importantly, what to avoid. Okay, so first things first, we have to tackle the big one, the Michigan car voucher myth. Understanding why this myth exists is the first real step to finding the actual help that's out there. And this slide just lays out the core confusion perfectly. The myth on the left is that there's some kind of public voucher from the DTMB, that's the Department of Technology Management and Budget, that you can just print out and take to a car dealership. But the reality, the fact, is that the real help comes from a totally different agency, DHS, and it's a managed support program specifically for helping people get and keep a job. So you might be asking, where did this whole myth even come from? Well, it all stems from confusing two completely different things. You see, the DTMB does have a vehicle purchasing program. It's called My Deal. But, and this is the key part, it is strictly for government agencies. Think cities, schools, that kind of thing, buying their fleet vehicles. The DTMB's own website says in no uncertain terms that citizens are not eligible. The problem is, a lot of online articles and guides mistakenly point people to this program, which is just a complete dead end. All right, now that we've busted that myth, let's talk about the real deal. We're going to dive into the legitimate path for getting transportation help, and its official name is Direct Supportive Services. So, the most important thing to remember is this. Direct Supportive Services, or DSS, is the official name. It is not a voucher you can download or a coupon you can clip. It's a support system, handled case by case, and it's run by the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services, or MDHS-HHS. Its entire goal is to remove barriers, like not having a car, that are stopping someone from working. And that brings us to probably the most important question for you. Who can actually qualify for this help? Because the requirements are very, very specific, and they're all tied directly to your employment situation. Let's just walk through this checklist together. First off, you have to already be getting some kind of MDHS benefits, like food or cash assistance. Second, the need for the car has to be directly linked to a job, either to keep the one you have or to accept a job you've officially been offered. You also have to prove that there's no public transit you can take instead. And finally, you have to show that you can actually afford the ongoing costs, like gas and insurance. And of course, you need a valid Michigan driver's license. This quote, right from the program's policy, really just says it all. This whole thing isn't just about getting a car. It's about getting a car so you can get to work or keep your job. Every single part of the approval process comes back to that one goal. It's a work support program, plain and simple. Now, what's really interesting is that the support is actually more flexible than you might think. It's not just a one-shot deal for buying a car. The help can cover a few different transportation needs. Okay, let's start with the big number that gets all the attention. If you're approved for a vehicle purchase, the program can provide up to $5,000. But look closely at that caption. This is a once-in-a-lifetime maximum, so it's a huge one-time boost, not some kind of recurring benefit. This table gives us a fantastic overview. So beyond just buying a car, DSS can also help with critical repairs to a car you already own, as long as it's to keep you employed. It can even cover the initial costs of insurance and getting your license plates. And get this, that money for insurance doesn't count against your $5,000 lifetime limit for a purchase, which is great. The program can sometimes even help with other job-related things like tools or special uniforms. Okay, so you think you might be eligible, you understand what they offer, so how do you actually apply? This part is absolutely critical, and it's where you have to ignore all those myths we talked about. There is only one correct way to do this. Let's just walk through these steps. Everything, and I mean everything, starts at the official MI Bridges online portal. That's where you first apply for the core benefits, like food assistance, that make you eligible in the first place. Once you're approved, you'll be assigned a caseworker. This is the person you need to talk to. You bring up your transportation problems with them.
There's no separate form you download, no other office you go to. You'll give all your documents directly to them, and then you wait for a decision, which, just so you know, is made on a case-by-case basis.
And you'll want to be prepared. It's a good idea to start gathering things like your driver's license, proof of your job or job offer, and a personal budget that shows you can actually afford the gas and insurance. Now, if you're looking to buy a car, you'll need an inspection report from a licensed mechanic before it can be approved. And if you're asking for help with repairs, you'll need a written estimate for that.
Whew, we have covered a lot of ground. So let's wrap all this up. We'll summarize the most important points and the common mistakes you absolutely need to avoid if you want to get through this process. This slide is your cheat sheet. It puts it all together. On the left, what to avoid. Absolutely ignore any guide that mentions DTMB or sends you to a DTMB dealer. That's the wrong program. Don't download any voucher forms from some random website. They aren't real. And on the right, what you should do. Use the official MI Bridges portal for everything. Work directly with your assigned DHS caseworker. They are your single point of contact. And get all your paperwork together ahead of time. Seriously, if you only remember one thing from this entire explainer, please let it be this. There is no public voucher. There's no coupon. Every single bit of this assistance has to be approved and processed internally by your assigned caseworker from DHS. That is the only way this program works. Period. So, with the myth totally busted and the real path laid out clear as day, the final question is really for you. Now that you know how Direct Supportive Services actually works, is this the support that could help you finally break through that transportation barrier and get you on the road to your next job? Because knowing the facts, that's the first and most important step.